too, if you know what I'm saying. So let's talk about Robert's mommy, Louise Pickton, first. So Louise was, let's just say, a kooky lady, and I don't think there's really any pictures of her on the internet. If there are, we'll put them up, but if not, I have a description for you. By the time she was a mid to older adult, and not even older adult, she was in her 30s, all of her teeth had rotted out of her mouth because she just didn't take care of herself. She didn't brush her teeth, she didn't go to the dentist, and it's not because she wasn't well off. These people had money. They were just disgusting. The way I describe this family, it will be so much like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, if you guys have ever seen that movie, and that family, how just gross and visceral and terrible they are. It is that, like, verbatim. It's like they were trying to be these people. And not only were her teeth rotting out of her face in her late 30s to mid 40s, but also all of her hair fell out, which it's fine. Like, it's fine if your hair falls out. It doesn't really matter. But the fact that she's just a terrible human being, it just makes me think she looked like that old decrepit ghoul from the movie The Taking of Deborah Logan. Terrifying. But to make up for the lack of hair on her head, she had a sick goatee, let me tell you. And a sweet mustache, according to people that she knew. So basically just picture this. And to boot, her choice of attire, according to her friends, okay, would be a house dress over top of very loose jeans and the largest gumboots possible. So she was just waddling around the farm. She looked like a little gremlin, man. I don't know. I think it's kind of funny. But she's a terrible person, and we'll get to that. And she also was extremely short. Again, not that that matters. I'm just describing her to give you a picture. And there's not much known about Leonard Pickton and his appearance and how he was, because he was a pretty standoffish kind of father. You know, one that you want approval from, but you can't get, and he just beats the shit out of you even every time you try to talk to him. That was Leonard Pickton. That's basically all the description we have. But both of Robert's siblings inherited Louise's stunning good looks, but Robert was said to have inherited his dad's rat face. And you know what I mean, because look at this guy. Piece of shit, rat-faced fuck. So it wasn't exactly the Hemsworth family, but I digress. So this good-looking farm family not only housed chickens, ducks, and dogs, but their main animal on the farm was, can you guess it? That's right, pigs. And when I say housed, I don't mean they kept them in separate farms or sheds. I mean they physically had these animals walking through their house, shitting and peeing in their house, and they would never clean it up. They would just wear their boots in the house. So this is just the most disgusting house you've ever stepped foot in. This is basically the worst case in hoarders history, because what they were hoarding was shit, which makes sense in hindsight because the entire family had shit personalities. Am I right? Yeah. So the kids had to slop 200 pigs twice a day. And if you don't know what slopping is, that's basically just feeding the pigs slop. And by doing that, the stench and slop and just pig manure, everything would just stick to these kids. And they'd be coming home from school and doing this and going back to school. So the kids were known to just smell like shit, which, I mean, I just kind of feel bad. Like, they had to work on a farm. I live in a farm town, so that's actually very common. But usually kids shower. But little Robert Pickton was scared of water, so we never showered. Just red flag. And their father, Leonard, would also smell like pig shit all the time, and he would earn the name Piggy from the locals. But he didn't seem to care. He actually liked it. It's like when you insult somebody nicely, but then they're just too dumb to understand, like,
whew, someone went with their natural musk today, hey, Leonard?
And Leonard's just like,
oh yeah, thank you so much. I can smell you from 10 feet away, Leonard. Wow, that's crazy. Must be really strong. Leonard, you smell like shit.
So the Picktons in general lived somewhat of an isolated life on the farm, and the children especially, spending most of their time with the pigs and with each other. The eldest daughter, Linda, did have a bit of a social life, and she was out of the house more than the boys, but the boys mostly when they were young just hung out with each other and with the pigs. Red flag. Number 2, 3, I don't know. I'm not gonna keep track. And Linda was not surprisingly the only one in the family that turned out somewhat normal, because her parents actually let her go out and hang out with friends and bought her new clothes, new dresses. She was like the princess of the family, kind of. I mean, a princess of a filthy fucking family, but the boys basically spent their entire childhoods in the slop. And this was partially because they actually wanted to be at home with each other, but especially Robert, because Robert, red flag number, who the fuck knows, was obsessed with his mommy. Oh no. We know serial killers that are obsessed with their mommies. Uh-oh, Ed Gein, Ed Kemper. Oh, Ed's I guess this is Robert. I don't know. Either way, I'm seeing patterns. They're gonna keep happening. Robert, like many other serial killers, had a very unhealthy attachment to his mother, Louise. And the only relationship he shared with his father, like I said before, when he even bothered to acknowledge Robert's existence, was to beat the shit out of him and be verbally abusive as well. And Robert was, let's just say, not the sharpest tool in the shed. He was known for only taking special ed classes when he was in school, and he would drop out when he was a freshman in high school. So between always smelling like manure, being antisocial, loving his mommy a little bit too much, and not being the brightest monkey in the barrel, Robert Pickton got picked on quite a bit, believe it or not. Which I don't condone bullying, but now that I know that this man literally is the worst human being alive, I don't really give a shit. And one of the ways he would cope with being bullied would be to go home and hide in a fresh hog carcass until he felt better. So it's like the Revenant, except he didn't do it to live. He did it to... I don't know. I don't know. Guys, I feel like I look like a freaking dweeb with my glasses, but I literally can't see if I'm in focus or not, and I cannot see the document that I wrote, so I gotta go back to the glasses. I'm sorry. Sexy secretary criminal Chris, coming at you. Here we go. Now, at 12 years old, Robert would have an important moment that happened in his life that he would go on to tell anybody that would listen as he became an adult. Robert, at 12 years old, would go to a livestock auction with $35 of his own money that he saved up. And for those of you who don't know, livestock auctions are where you buy animals, often to either have on your farm or just to butcher. Anyway, he would go to that livestock auction and he would spend his $35 on an adorable little calf to raise. Oh, like a little cow, so cute, I love it. And he would go on to raise this calf for a few weeks, and he was loving it, he was having a good time, and then one day, he would come home from school and he would look for his calf and he would say,
Dad! Where's my calf? I can't find it. Do you know where I put my calf?
and his father would say,
Oh, son, have you looked in the barn?
and little Robert would say,
No, Father, but I will. Thank you for letting me know.
So he walked over to the farm and he looked for his little cow companion, and when he opened the doors to the barn, he gazed upon his spotted friend hanging from his feet from the ceiling with his throat cut, bleeding into a bucket on the ground. And as he started to realize that his calf compadre had been butchered beyond belief, he heard a little chuckle from behind him, and it was his father who was just playing a fun little prank on little Ricky. Like, can you imagine your father doing that? So as you can see, you can really start to smell the cereal pot of stew brewing. No, boiling, I think. Like, can you imagine your dad calling you downstairs to prank you, and he's just hiding behind the corner, and he's about to scare you when you come down, and he's like, ah! Also, taxidermied the cat on the kitchen counter. Am I right? No? Too far? Fair. Anyway, I do feel bad. I feel bad. That's f***ed up. That's f***ed up to witness as a kid. I mean, that's probably not gonna make or break you as a serial killer necessarily, but I can't imagine experiencing that as a child. Like, there are plenty of people that are raised in less than ideal situations, and even on farms. Like, if you live on a farm, you know that a lot of the pets and stuff have to get butchered and stuff. And these people grow up being normal people and don't end up, butchering almost 50 women. So I'm not gonna give him any leeway, if you will. So when Robert was 14, he and his family would move to a different pig farm in Coquitlam, British Columbia, Canada, which was just about 20 minutes away from Port Coquitlam. And Linda, Robert's older sister, would take this opportunity to get the f*** out of town, man. She went to Vancouver to stay with friends and relatives, and she was like, bye bitches, y'all are fucking disgusting and I'm peacing out this bit. Bye. 10 points for Linda. We love Linda, boss ass bitch. She got out of there at the right time, let me tell you what. Because this would be the farm where all of the heinous crimes and atrocities would take place in the years to come. And this place literally looked like a horror movie set. It's like the biggest horror movie trope location you've ever seen. Like, this is a farm you would see when you're walking by and be like,
Somebody definitely got murdered in that farm, I tell you what. Did you guys hear that scream?
And this land was literally littered with quicksand spots that you could very much potentially die in if you stepped in. And to top it off, there was a creepy, smelly lagoon at the back of the property. Really, all that was missing was a creepy guy in overalls that preyed on helpless women, am I right? Oh, wait, that's this guy! Again, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, man. That's all I could think of. So this farm had over 700 pigs on it. 700 200 pigs. And a couple hundred chickens stuffed into a couple different sheds and barns. And Willie, aka Robert, and Dave, just about to be out of high school, were slopping the pigs 3 times a day at this point. So they slop in the morning, they'd slop at lunchtime from school, and they'd slop at night, and they'd slop at night. That's hard to say. All while never taking a shower. Well, Dave sometimes took a shower, but Robert literally never took a shower. He